are you, Jared?
I'm okay. Ready for some action.
You've been seeing a lot of action, I feel like, over the last...
That is true.
You skipped your break today.
I know, but then you turned me down, and then I was going to save it, and I went down behind the galleries here all by myself.
If it makes you
feeling sorry for myself, so I ate them both.
If it makes you feel any better, I would have done the same thing.
Welcome to COVID court tennis. Can you hear us, Ryan? We're back on.
All right. Welcome to the 2021 National League. Brought to you by the United States Court Tennis Association, the Preservation Foundation, and East Ham Capital. Hello, Eric Silverman, if you're out there. I'm Ken Fortin. I'm here today with tennis maven Freddie Adam. How are you doing, Freddie?
I'm well, Ken. It's great to be here.
All right. We're at the Tennis and Racket Club, Boylston Street.
Tastes worse than one.
In lovely Boston, Massachusetts. We're on to match number 2 of this grouping, Tuxedo versus New York. And that's Tim Chisholm, current doubles world champion, and his assistant Leon Smart, playing James Stout and Barney Tanfield of New York's Racket and Tennis Club.
Last gallery, two Jasons.
What do you think we'll see here today, Freddie? A couple of hard hits?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure Barney and Jamie have played together quite a bit by now.
Yep.
And whereas Leon and Tim might be have had less time on court together. Tim wasn't pleased with that worse than a yard chase that he's now got to face.
Yep.
Probably a little main wall dead on here. Nope. Straight in.
Lost the chase.
It's like a marking situation as a switched up the ambassador. Temple Grassi is marking, assisted by Josh Bainton, calling something. Chases. Ooh, very nice shot.
Early eye-in from Jamie.
15.
Being a lefty.
Remind me, Freddie, you're a lefty, aren't you?
No, I'm a righty.
You are a righty. So many lefties in the upper levels of this game now.
30 all.
What's your opinion on the advantage or disadvantage of being left-handed in court tennis?
Well, the disadvantage outright is the return, without a doubt. But if you can master the return, which is not easy, as we know,
Nope. Was in. Thank you.
or learn how to turn on it and take it to your advantage.
Seems like Cam and Steve have worked very hard on that sort of baseball.
Hazard
style.
chase worse than the first dish?
Absolutely.
Two-handed.
And Cam even can get around it so quickly that he's got time to feather it. It doesn't have to be a hard hit.
Yes, I noticed in the singles match earlier today.
40-30 for the new servers. Hazard the line.
I was absolutely convinced that he was going to hit the ball to one corner of the court, and it went
Hazard the line.
completely the opposite.
And he disguises it so well as well.
Yes, he's really one of the best at that.
So we've got Hazard the line here and Tim with a simple bobble, but watch out Leon. And that's going in the gallery. No.
Won it.
Jamie went for the macho shot into the dead on instead.
Two.
Why not?
Oh.
The
Second serve.
perspex cutout there makes for a great sound effect on court.
Advantage.
Tim's going to be saying, get in there. Or at least expect it. They're going to pick on Leon for sure.
Tim wants more aggression.
Second serve.
It's hard, but in doubles, just like singles, you want to use the first game or so to see what the other guys are going to do. That was a big miss, winning gallery for Tim.
On the court.
Barney probably regretting that he left that. He didn't leave that now.
Game ball.
Barney doesn't strike me as a regrets kind of guy.
nice hit from Barney. That was going in dead on. Tim didn't have any choice, and Leon was too far forward to get it. It was well placed.
Of course, Tim is only 18 months and 2 years out from having both knees replaced.
Incredible.
We've been referring to him as
15
Titanium
love.
Tim.
Tiny Tim for short.
Not at all. And then Barney's definitely got some small problem.
Out of court. Out of court.
Bothering in this tournament.
30 love. Receivers.
There's a turn. Oof.
15-30.
There wasn't much to turn on there. It came out quite straight,
Yep.
quite flat, hard.
Uh-oh.
40-15.
Right idea.
Receivers lead.
Just a bit of a cold shot. He'll get warmed up. Nice lob from Tim.
Tuxedo switching it up.
Well placed.
30-40. Receivers lead.
Bit of oomph on it.
I was thinking, talking to Mark Beaumont earlier about the advantages and disadvantages of this format for National League. Certainly is interesting to get it all done in 5 days, but I sort of wondered whether or not it was to everybody's advantage. Some of these players with any kind of physical problems, certainly it just gets worse and worse every match.
That's true if you're in shape. Playing 5 hard days of court tennis is going to take its toll on any player.
Yes. For those of you, if there's anybody watching who's not familiar with this game, the players play on a concrete surface. Every once in a while, if they're not lucky, they run into a concrete wall. They're hitting a ball, I'm not sure you can tell from the sound, but a ball that's solid, much more akin to a baseball than a usual tennis ball. And then you swing a racket that really feels more like a club sometimes. It's so heavy, and the strings are strung so tight that you have to string it by ear rather than by using any kind of a machine. So add that all up, and it is rough on your body, and if you don't play with something resembling decent technique, you will pay for it. I can recall when I first started to play and was just so wristy. I had an absolutely terrible tennis elbow for 2 or 3 weeks. It was so bad I couldn't even carry a few balls back to the data with my racket. It was, oh God, it was terrible, and I'd never ever had it before, and I thought, I don't know what this is. How could it be tennis elbowed? My elbow doesn't hurt. It's a misnomer, I guess. And James Stout splitting the difference there. But some ice and time, and finally learning to move my arm correctly.
Was it a pro that told you how to adjust, what you needed to do to adjust?
Well, in those days, Jimmy Burke was our pro, and when I could find him, he gave me good Good advice.
Yeah.
Temple, what'd you call that?
Of course, when you come to this game from any other racket sport, sometimes I think it takes more adjustment because it seems like it would translate a little more directly from some of the other sports, but honestly, it doesn't really seem to.
How are you?
Western 6.
That is Josh Bainton saying hello. Nice to see Josh here up from Newport.
Josh of PDQ Printing
Lost the chase.
in Newport.
15,
Sponsors
40.
and printers of the annual report. Look
Let him
who's
ta-
here.
Let him take care of all your printing needs. We're joined by Camden Revere.
Give that man a headset.
Yeah, come on and join us.
Is it back there, I
Last
think?
gallery. 1540.
Here we go.
All right.
I want to hear a full critique of Tim Chisholm's play right now.
You want to sit here, Cam? There's a good view for you.
40,
Oh, here you
15.
go.
Tuxedo lead. Chase the last gallery. 40, 15.
See on there?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, is it
Faults.
maybe dead now?
Ryan doesn't think so.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right, Ryan, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
30,
Can you
40.
hear me now? All right. I don't know.
Sit here.
Welcome,
I don't know if
Camden.
I should critique Tim too much, considering I have to play him tomorrow. I know we're friends,
Game
but
tuxedo.
we're
Yeah,
not.
we've
on in.
been remarking what a difficult job Leon has to quote unquote take your place. We know that can't happen, but Tim has been giving him some stern talking to.
Yeah, I mean, I think
15 up.
Tim's expectations of his doubles partners are always quite high. His IQ in doubles is
Off the
it's
charts.
too high for most people to understand, and I think that's makes it tough. You know, I call it the expectation of knowledge. His is quite high.
15
I
all.
like that. Now, I'm going to probably get this wrong. But isn't Tim the first world doubles champion along with Julian Snow?
That is correct.
Aha. Okay, see, so I did get that right.
Yep, so they won the first one, and then Rob and Steve went on a tear
Yep,
for, I want to say, 10 years, 12 years, something like that.
right.
Well,
And then-
03, yeah, 03 until you and Tim.
Including 07, which was played right here at Boston's Tennis and Racket Club.
That was a good year. I had a lot of hair that year.
Oh my God.
I remember that year.
Those were the days.
You had a serious mop. How old were you there, 19?
Yeah, 18, 19. Oh, great volley.
Well, those are good times, too,
It's pretty amazing.
if you do it
know,
right.
That to think back on that and to see Tim still out here, you know, bionic knees, covering the court the way he does. And I know that, like we said, his IQ is very high, but his movement and just ball striking in general just doesn't seem to really have dropped. I mean, obviously he's not as fit as he used to be and all of that, but as far as like cleanly striking volleys, it's incredible. That's why I enjoy playing with him still, and he kind of makes me. It's kind of a
Chase more than a
forced
yard
situation.
worse than last
He
gallery.
seems to have a lot of natural ability that he
More than a yard worse, yeah.
improves on with practice.
So much is anticipation, and that's coming from the experience. And
And that's where I think that, I mean, I know most people outside the U.S. don't really think of this Stout Tanfield doubles pair, but they've been playing together for years.
Yeah.
That's a great shot.
Game tuxedo.
And know each other very well. And I think that can be worth more than just about anything, right? So I think they get kind of potentially 4 or 5 points better as a team just because they know what their partner wants to do and where they like to hit the ball.
It's a very even match so far, at least by the scoreboard. 2-all.
I think Tim's pretty fired up at the moment. You know, I would like to get another big win for Tuxedo.
got that look. Now, of course, in our
Shamey.
Great pickup.
in our National League doubles format, we're playing an 8-game pro set. I'm assuming that just means when you're in those matches, Camden, you just have to get to it, right? I mean, there's no making up for it in an additional set.
No, it's very unique. This he's gotten it back as well. Oh,
Look at that.
what an amazing sequence there. So normally we play the doubles last. So it's
Yeah,
number two singles,
that's a
number
switch
one,
this year, right?
and it's made it difficult because I feel that you want the singles matches to decide the outcome, right? You don't want to have a singles match still to play and the evening be decided. But I guess because this year we're going on straight point accumulation, right? It doesn't matter as much. You're just trying to win as many of the matches as you can.
Right.
That's what's important.
I guess you do get extra points for winning the
You do.
2 out of 3, right? Isn't
You
that
do.
right? Okay.
But it can put quite a lot of pressure on you, for potentially the number one guy walking out on the court, needing to win the doubles to stay alive in the evening.
Correct.
No way. Oh, no. I overhit
That's
it.
not good enough.
No.
Look at that. Tim is practically in the trough.
Oh, Jamie, Jesus.
That was a great rally.
Fantastic.
Guys, you got 15 all. Chase the line.
Maybe before we
We're getting
we're doing
sign signals from Ryan.
we're doing microphone torture right now.
I feel like he's playing a trick on me. I can't tell.
Maybe before we get to too intense a point in the match, you can tell us, Camden, a little bit about the doubles positioning or lack of positioning that you and Tim
great
use.
shot.
I have to confess, being a massive tennis nerd, and say that I've watched the Hobart World Doubles a number of times. It's such a great production. Ryan's tired of hearing me talk about it because he did not do the video
Right.
on it. But it's a great production,
Great shot.
good commentary, very topical. They're a little obsessed with Tim's track pants and fist bumps and stuff like that in the commentary. But there's obviously a lot of talk about the positioning because when you're new to the game, you sort of learn the traditional positioning, but then obviously you can liberate yourself from that a bit when you have the more advanced knowledge. So do you have general rules, or are you just intuiting each other's positioning during the
If you know
match?
if you know doubles positioning, right, and you know doubles positioning for everywhere on the court,
Yep.
then there's always a place you should be, something you should be covering. So basically the way we do it is the server's in control. He's the decision maker.
Okay.
So, and the other guy plays off of him. So if, say, Tim's serving, he will serve, and he's reading the scenario from his perspective.
Okay.
And he's moving to a position where he thinks the game is going to develop that way. I'm then saying, well, he's covering that, and so where would my positioning be to counteract that? If it doesn't go that way, what way is it going to go? And so I'm covering the other option. So you're still covering the entire court,
Okay.
right? But it's almost like hedging your bets. He's saying, I'm hedging my bet that it's going to be this outcome, and if it's not, then Camden's covering the other outcome.
That makes way more sense than I thought it would.
But it's one of those things that's very easy to say that, but you have to.
But where do you stand?
You have to trust. You have to trust that your partner knows where to stand, right?
Yes.
So you have to. Ooh, that's a freebie. You have to believe that your partner is as knowledgeable as you are and will move into the proper space, and that if you leave a ball, that they're going to be behind you potentially, and so.
And as the non-server, you have to be incredibly aware of where your partner is if you're going to play off each other in the way that you described.
Exactly. So it's one of those things. It didn't always, we didn't always do that, and we weren't always good at it. Oh no, for you. We actually had a breaking point. We played a U.S. Open final, and it was against I think probably Rob and Steve, and we lost very badly. And we had driven in together, and we were driving back home, and we were basically discussing and being like, we don't know if we can do this, because technically speaking, if you take the top guys, we're all alphas. We all want to be the guy. We all want to be the best.
Right.
And so it's very hard to say who's in charge, right? And so, we had basically played a match where we were both trying to be the guy, and it didn't work. And we went back to the drawing board, and it was actually Darcy, Tim's wife. She was like, well, why don't you guys just flip a coin? And whoever wins the coin toss gets to be in control for that match, right? And it actually made total sense.
Yeah.
And so we did that for a match, and that is kind of what spurred it on, because we realized that we could take the arrogance out of it, in a sense, and say, whoever's serving is in charge, right? Because that guy's first opportunity to hit the ball, the same way the returner's in charge, right? He's the guy playing the ball first. And the other guy just plays off of him. And, obviously it's taken years and years for us to get to where we are now, but it's worked really well. I just would say that I do feel for Leon a bit, because he is getting there. He is getting more and more experienced. But this is his first time really playing with Tim, and it's going to take a while for him to learn. Why the heck is Tim standing there? Why is Tim doing this? And when he's only really used to traditional doubles positioning.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to tell Tim that he shouldn't be standing somewhere.
I mean, I'll leave that to you. I'm not saying that to him.
I know from that 2019 World Doubles a few times. Tim is on the forehand side of the service court, standing basically at the door, obviously anticipating that cross court shot. And now if he is up at the door, are you basically covering the backcourt for him, or are you really still focused on the galleries?
Well, it depends. So sometimes if someone's moved somewhere, there's a reason. It's because they believe that the shot has the potential of heading to that area. So I mean, it's tough, because if you actually want to get into it, there's so many factors. Who are you playing against? Are they lefty? Are they righty?
Right.
What are their tendencies? All those types of things. But generally speaking, you fall into a position where one guy covers the galleries, one guy covers behind him. And we still fall into that. It's the natural way the game works.
It's just that if you're Camden and you're behind your partner who's just come to the door, you're fast enough to get across the court.
Yeah.
If something happens unexpectedly.
We love to tell people, like, do as we teach, not as we do. Because what we do a lot of the times is the opposite of what we would tell people to do in doubles matches. But it's just because of, our unique skill sets. But so far, I will say, Tim's playing pretty well. He looks best he's looked all week.
They're up right now.
Well, what were you calling him, an alpha male? That alpha males like to be the rock in doubles.
I think Tim is about as alpha as I think I've ever met.
And it's a real rush to play the forehand service court, serve and especially the way Tim does, because Tim pretty much wants to volley the return when it comes back to him.
Yep.
And it's just extraordinary to watch.
It is impressive.
A very nice family guy, though.
It's
hard to think of another pro that loves his family more than
impossible.
More than Tim.
I don't think I can. Oh, that's great forcing. Yeah, I think it's so funny because I think for a lot of the guys, and I'll include myself in this, there's your on-court persona and your off-court persona. And I think sometimes it's hard to differentiate them because you want to carry things over, but Tim to me is the nicest guy. Nicest guy off the court, but on court he's only there. He wants to win. He's there to win.
Sure.
And if you're in the way of that, then you're an issue.
Well put.
Advantage receiver.
It's a big game right here.
I don't know if you
It
know.
is, yeah.
It is a big game. Let's see how this comes out.
Should we just say a quick congratulations to Mike for today? Well played.
Yeah, carried
Mike
me
Gooding.
carried me through the doubles today. He's very solid.
And I think still shot of the day as well. No offense, Cam. That high overhead backhand
That was pretty.
was beautiful. Yeah.
I don't need shot of the day. I just want the win.
All right, alpha male 2 here.
I've learned a lot from Tim over the years. Yeah, this is a big game. I think especially in a race to 8, the difference between 5-2 and 3-4 is
Has it chased
huge.
worse than a yard? Has it done?
It's going in.
Second use, 40 all. Game ball.
That's such a great shot. Barney hit one of those high main wall forces that go right in between the players
Yep.
Big point
earlier
right
on.
here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think that's the serve. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Tim just says,
5 games to 2.
thank you.
It's such a good serve, but he just not against him for some reason. He's just too good on that volley.
Seems like of all
Shot.
the pros, he relishes that straight force service return off the penthouse. I mean, if he could do it often, he would.
Yeah.
But whenever he sees anything in that area, smack.
Yep. Yep.
Take the point.
That's good play from Stout there. It's good court awareness, right? Heavy cut on that ball, hitting around Tim, hoping
Knowing
for
it's
that
going to
cut.
die.
Yeah.
15-30.
What's the intelligence on James Stout? Has he been playing a little bit more court tennis during the break than usual, maybe?
I think so. I think especially having retired from rackets, I know double squash is his focus, but with the pro shop they have there, from what I'm talking to them, they kind of play a couple times a week doubles and singles matches against each other, and so that's only going to help him.
It's great. I love seeing him play,
Yeah,
especially when he hits more of a racket shot in tennis. I mean, he gets a very hard shot hit at him, and he just swings right through the ball into the wall.
He has the ability to hit a couple shots that don't exist normally in court tennis. They're uniquely his, and no one else can do them.
Yep. Give us one of those. Can you recall one?
So his high backhand volley, he is the strongest. He's able to hit a force, the pace of which a righty would on a forehand on his high backhand volley.
Okay.
But also his reverse boast on his backhand on a railroad. It's just not something about how rackets players hit it is apparently different, and no one else hits it like he does.
I remember too, there was a British Open that you guys played each other, and the first set he gave you a lot of trouble, and it seemed to me that his retrieving, right? So also when he retrieves something, he's going to throw some junk at you that most players wouldn't even know what to do. So it's something you haven't really seen before, or certainly don't see that often.
Yeah, and it's honestly, it sounds awful, but the worst thing that could happen for him is for him to play more court tennis style. Like, you got to make the game your own, and part of what makes him so electric is the way that he plays, right? Choosing to hit to different areas of the courts, make it different right? Don't just
Yeah.
play traditional tennis. That's not who you are. And that's when he's, to me, at his best.
And then you still have to figure out what to do for the serve. That's the.
I think hitting an unpredictable shot is it's also much more interesting to watch, especially as a sort of a middling amateur. You just think, what the heck? What did he just hit there?
This is well, maybe next time he does it, but it'd be really interesting just to hear your notes, Cam, on Tim's classic double serve with that
Oh, his high sidewall.
drop. Yeah. What is he trying to get the receiver to do exactly?
Well, with a guy like Barney, you're just trying to pin him in on, like, you can't stop him from forcing, but what you're trying to do is just make it not full force.
Yeah.
So pinning him in against that back wall, I think Tim tends to prefer the side wall, like more of a high side wall than just a high drop.
Listen to 30-15, New York lead.
Whereas I think most pros these days are more in for just the high drop.
To get it to roll along the back wall.
Just more dropping very
Yeah.
much rather than running across, where Tim seems to prefer the sidewall version. Oh.
Yours, Cam.
Yeah. See, that's the one there. You know, Leon's not in a bad position. He's
Yeah.
obviously moved back because he's worried about the straight force.
Yep.
But your two objectives there are you're covering the down the line force and anything that comes around Tim. So
Correct.
there he's only positioned himself for one, right? 2 steps to the right, and he's positioned himself for both.
I noticed that, especially Ryan on that Hobart production.
You can cut Ken's mic whenever you want, Ryan.
I did notice that during that match, I mean, I couldn't even count the number of times that the ball came around Tim, and you were. I had a hard time figuring out exactly
great
where
shot.
you were standing to get that ball so consistently, but I thought, God, that makes so much sense. But then I realized, that ball has to really be humming into that main wall to come around like that. And I mean, the people I play with, I don't think we really generate enough force to do that. But the consistency was remarkable.
Yeah, doubles isn't quite a game of subtlety, I mean,
Yeah.
how you're not seeing these guys chipping it around, really, right?
No.
So the ball, if you're getting better than 2 chases in doubles, you're doing amazing, because that just doesn't happen.
Right.
Most of the time it's like that. Tim's hit, 3 or 4 straight forces to get back in this game.
Yep.
Oh, that's not going to help matters.
Dump it in the door and come on
Straight
over.
through. No? Oh.
And the change up for the game.
Tuxedo. We lead by 6 games to 3.
I feel like I kind of need to be rooting against Tuxedo at this point. I think they're one of the only teams left that could dethrone New England at the moment. Oh, wow.
That's teamwork.
Yeah, it's tough to read that.
Two
Could've gone-
rackets for the price
I
of
could
one.
have gone anywhere.
So Camden, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
It looked like you were playing with a gold leaf racket still
Yeah.
today. Although I
Are we
could-
getting into the big questions?
no,
now?
I could be forgiven for thinking that was a graze though, because it's not the usual
Yep.
the usual clear wood. Tell us about the design of that racket.
Did that stay in? Oh wow! Hold on one second. Oh, that's a great pickup by Stout.
Incredible.
It's just
Amazing.
honestly, it's just a gold leaf that Sean had stained
Okay.
the wood on. So I'm using. I don't know if it's officially been announced yet. I guess I'll announce it now. But I don't think gold leaf's coming back. I'm pretty sure that unfortunately they're being shut down.
40-15, 1 chase. All on the
So
ball,
I'm kind
guys.
of using my last rackets this week
Yep.
So it's kind of, I have like, every racket I have is different. I have a stained one, I have the normal one, and then I have one that has like a gloss on it. So, kind of going out in style, I guess.
That's very
No, I'm
sad
gonna have
to
to
hear because
keep mine.
he took so long to develop that racket.
Yeah.
I remember playing with some of the very earliest prototypes, and they were
Yep.
not the greatest, but now, I mean, they're
Yeah, now it's, he's really gotten it down. I
Fantastic.
think, with the pandemic and workers being hard to find and just the whole teaching process and the time it takes, he just was unable to kind of get people going back in the shop, and then now the idea, I think, was to get it up and running before he had to move. His wife's in the Navy, and unfortunately that timing hasn't worked out, and so they're going to have to take off, and life kind of takes over at some points.
It's still
great
remarkable
shot.
he even got it off the ground, given that they were living outside of Seattle when he started.
you have to
Gold Leaf.
find some other single-minded maniac to continue in his footsteps.
Oh, but what's the deal now? There's a new French racket maker.
I did hear about them.
What now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Called,
see?
it's called Thiel, I think. Thiel.
I'm not even going to try
Wow.
my French
who
moxie at
who
this point.
is behind that? Do you know?
Text in, let us know.
Oh, we need
Yeah.
to get our hands on that.
I think the more the merrier, to me personally.
Sure.
I think that having one monopoly is not good for anybody.
No.
Being able to charge whatever price you want and not have anybody be able to tell you otherwise, is never a good thing. So I think Gold Leaf was very good for the game in the sense of, even if you didn't use the rackets, right, it helped everybody. Helped everybody get better deals, or, it helped affordability for the pro shops, which then in turn makes it more affordable for the members and
Well, it also
all those things. It also gives you options, so different styles of rackets, which we've never had before.
Right, and it looked like it really pushed Grays to innovate a little bit, and it seemed like they copied a few of the things from Gold Leaf. I don't have any vested interest in all this controversy, but that's what it looked like.
Yep.
You'd see these social media posts about customization and everything, and it's got to be positive for the game. I mean, not that we're not all indebted to Grays for keeping the flame alive in this game, because obviously you cannot play it without this specialized racket. I mean, you can't play this game with any other racket that is commercially made.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd love to see us go the graphite route in the future. I think from an affordability perspective
Interesting.
and technology perspective, I think we're at a point where they can make a racket that has the same attributes that our current rackets have, so you wouldn't see an increase in pace or spin or any of those things. They can make a racket that has the same flexibility and pace standards that these rackets have, but would offer a lot more affordability to members. Because right now, we're looking at charging members $400 to $800 a racket, and that really limits who has access to court tennis.
That
right?
is absolutely correct.
So to me, if we could have graphite rackets and they're available for $200 to $300, that price is never going to go up. That's just a set in stone type price, and that will allow us to open the game up and get more inclusivity, which, if we're honest about it, is one of the things court tennis needs more of than just about anything.
I'm not sure your average club pro will be too excited about
They'll make the same markup on there.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is you can't mark up these new rackets 100% because of the cost associated to them.
Yeah.
So
Wouldn't you overall sell fewer rackets, though, because everything's lasting longer?
potentially, but you'd make it up in restrings. Oh, that's a great shot. You can make it up in restrings. You can make it up in more racket sales, because if someone's buying one racket for $600, they might buy two or three at $250. It's
People might want to have 2 or 3 rackets in their bag,
exactly
like lawn tennis.
Right
or
now,
squash.
most guys
Yep.
carry one racket because they can't afford more than one. So, not that I don't know if it'll ever happen, and I know there's lots of feelings about it, but I just personally would like to see the game go that way at some point. And then I can see a wood manufacturer continuing to go for, people who want to keep that part of the game alive and it still be an option,
Oof.
but not necessarily be mandatory.
15 lot.
I think in the UK, because I was on the tennis committee for 6 years in the UK, that
great
the UK
shot.
would have a real problem with going to composite for international play.
Right.
For club players who don't want to wear and tear their wood racket all the time, it makes perfect sense. A bit like baseball,
Yep.
where college, you up to college level or amateur level, you use metal, and in the pro league, you're using wood.
But even
What about the power issue, though, Cam? Because
Yeah.
that's the thing. Even
They
if
can
you're
solve that.
trying to make, I know you can make anything you
Yeah.
want pretty much out of
Yeah.
composite now, but I think that's really the only thing.
So the way it works,
you don't know
and-
until you try it, of course.
Well,
as
so
well.
they do know. So
Yeah.
basically, the same way they test tennis rackets is they do these stress tests that have 20 to 30 different results that they look at, right? And what they do is they layer essentially graphite over a base racket. And how you layer the graphite dictates what properties it gets. And so they can test a court tennis racket and give you the properties that they want, and then they go to the board if there's like 150 different options of graphite layering, and they basically say graphite layering 82 matches your stats perfectly. And so that's what would give you the exact same playability.
Oh, Jesus.
Holy cow.
That's what I'm talking about on that high backhand from Stout.
My
The
God.
swallow.
Oh.
I don't think gravity had
think,
time to work on that ball. Oh, there goes
I
another
think
one.
Stout's a little bit frustrated. I think he might just want to get on to the singles at this point.
Just wants to kill. Boing.
Just makes you wonder, why not do this the whole time?
There's a chase.
If you have the ability to hit it like that, why not? Why isn't he doing that the whole time?
It's a great question. Well, we're at match ball.
Yeah. And this would clinch the extra 2 points for Tuxedo,
Correct.
even with one match left to play in the session.
Chase the line.
Oh, and there it is.
There he goes.
I think looking at how Tim's playing, I think that's going to make this singles match very interesting.
I agree.
Will it make, I mean, it'll come down, I think, a lot to what Jamie wants to serve to Tim, right? I mean, if he's going to bobble him or do his sidewall, you know.
Well, there's a lot more court to cover in singles, obviously. So, I know Tim's moving and hitting it, but it's you don't get that volley as often in singles. A lot of
Right.
times the court's spread out. So Stout will have to, if he wants to win out, to take advantage of that and try and spread Tim out as much as he can.
Let's continue this conversation when the singles comes back. I've been Ken Fortin, and with me are Freddie Adam and Camden Revere. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks very much for joining us.
Glad that shot didn't hit a camera. Jeez.